It's been a week since the 4th episode and the last episode of the Overture for Critical Role Campaign 4 aired, and now it's time for me to review the Overture as a whole. That means that there will be spoilers for the first 4 episodes, so if you don't want those, make sure you leave this video now before we get into talking about it. But before that happens, if you are interested in Critical Role, Dungeons & Dragons, nerd culture content in general, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and of course, leave a comment down below, even if it's just an emoji, to help me with the algorithm. Now let's give a review of the Overture. So this can be a pro and a con. It was packed. It was so many stories going at once, so many big moments. I mean, it felt like what could have been months of content pushed down into a small area. But I know why they did it, and it kept things interesting. I mean, I don't think you could have ever been watching and thought like, well, this is kind of boring. I don't know that there's anything exciting happening. No, it was just a constant flood of new and exciting things, except for when Hal was on screen. But we'll get into that later. In terms of stories, we got a lot of things that let us know who the characters are, right? They introduced us to why Wick will be the Wick that we will come to know. They gave us this big moment with his grandfather being revealed as a 30-foot tall angel. They showed us the behind the scenes of the Halavar family and what they're doing, why they're doing it, and things like that. We found out that Draconis are not to be played with, and they have some big secret plan behind the scenes, and while they're fighting undead armies or controlling them. We also saw the wiping out of an entire house. That is going to be, of course, Julian's Davino's house. It is gone. The Roy's house as well, apart from Aranessa, is also gone, at least as far as we know. We also saw Octus, played by Alex Ward, become the species that he wanted to be. He wanted to be a hallowed one or a hollowed one. Well, now he is, and we got to see that happen and have these moments or implications within the story that will give us even more to go with. We learned more about the mysterious Valus, played by Ashley Johnson. I mean, there's just been so much. When it comes to stories, we've had the tables split, right? They give us the official tables. We now know the soldiers are going off to chase down Casimir, who is behind all of this trading when it comes to Thiazi's escape plan, right? He's the one who turned on them. They're also trying to find out about Sid, Tayor's brother, because he went and they chase after him, and so they're trying to make sure he's okay, right? We know what they're doing. Then we know the schemers are most likely going to be the people who stay in the town and try to scheme against the houses that are coming in and trying to take over different places, such as the school, the guard, the museum, all of that stuff. And of course, the Seekers are the ones who were there when all of that stuff happened with Octus and the Stone and the Draconis family slaughtering everyone. And so they may be going to figure out what's going on with this army of the undead that they see and stuff like that, going to the Barrow guard to be able to find Taisha's son, right? All of these sorts of things. And so it set us up really nicely. It gave us a look at how they got here. Again, it was very much like a session 0, very much like a backstory that we got to watch happen instead of coming in after it already had. When it comes to that, I rate that well. I think that's really solid. I will say the cons to it are that I saw a lot of it coming. It had more structure than I probably love in my D&D games, right? It was very much like, okay, we know that something's gonna happen here. Maybe we don't know the exact details, but you can expect it. And there were so many expected moments, at least for me, and maybe other people feel differently. After all, this is my review, that it was like, okay, I'm excited to get past this part. I want to see what it's like post-Overture. So it was packed full of stuff. A lot of it you could kind of get like, okay, I think I know where this is going to go, because they were kind of following the rails, right? They were staying in the rails because they knew they needed to get through this 4-episode Overture to get into the meat and potatoes of it. But now let's talk about characters. So when it comes to characters, we saw a lot of big reveals. Again, the Wikander one, Octus becoming what he is. The Bolea reveal was insane. He's a sentient mask. He's really interesting. I like that. We learned more about, I mean, basically everybody. Valus, like I said earlier, and kind of her background and why she wanted the Night Song and all these sorts of things, this legendary elven warrior. And any of you who have watched previous stuff of mine or tuned into the pre-show and the post-show know that early on episode 1, I was not a fan of Tyranny. Episode 2, she grew on me. By episode 3, I am really enjoying Tyranny. I'm curious to see how everything's going to play out with her as well. Thimble has had these beautiful moments, again, just the emotion in her reveal, and then we also had a more playful side when we got the flashback to the wedding where she was a gift. Also really well done. Looking forward to that. Tayor and Cadigan are really cool. Cadigan, I am really excited to see how he starts to be more active now that we get him at a smaller table and he's kind of guiding them through the wild and things like that. Loving that. Really, I'm enjoying all the characters. Azune has felt kind of background so far, right? He hasn't been a part of a lot of these big moments. He's kind of just been off doing his own thing and have a little bit of background stuff. So I feel like we need more attention there on him. Murray's been very fun. I like a lot of the sass and the personality there. It's extreme at times, but it's going to bring us some funny moments. I have no doubt about that. The only one that I really haven't enjoyed much is Hal. I feel like we just haven't gotten a lot out of him. He's also felt kind of background, even though it was his brother that ends up being executed. Like I got the first episode, it's going to be somber. It's a wake for a funeral. His brother just died. I get all that. But as we've gone further and further in, it just hasn't felt like anything's changed. I haven't gotten a lot out of Hal yet, played by Liam O'Brien. Taisha has had her own things, right? She was a part of that. And she's kind of gone off and done this and done that. She's had the moments with her daughter, just like Hal has had. But Hal just hasn't done anything for me yet. And I'm hoping we'll get more out of him. I like Taisha's connection, of course, to like the Loy family, and I think she's going to be a great source of learning things about that. So all in all, in terms of characters, it's good. I think we have unique characters. I'm not talking about like classes. I know we got a lot of similar classes, but in terms of who characters are, we have some good differences. We have Belair the way he is. We have Tyranny the way she is. We have Wick the way he's, right? There's different personalities. And some people have clashed with Murray's personality, thinking it's too much but you don't want everybody to have the same personality, right? I like that we have these differences. I like that we have a very strong, emotional, motherly instinct for Taisha. I like that we have this sass and this sort of bucking the establishment that we have from Murray. I like those things. I like that Julian throws something completely different into the mix, that he came in and basically like nobody there is like a huge fan of him. But he has these interactions and he's becoming who he is. And we've watched him soften for a moment and then something bad happened. He hardens back up, right? I like the differences. Not everybody's going to be the same, right? When people are like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that, that's okay to not enjoy some as much, but you can't want them to all have the same personality. The contrast, the difference in the character arcs, right? We're going to see Julian slowly over time become somebody different. We're going to see Murray adjust in some ways, right? We're going to see all of these things happen, and that's part of the fun. So in terms of characters, I'm excited across the board, except for Hal, really. I hope that Hal becomes more exciting. In the lore, we've gotten a lot of it, and some of it's hard to keep up with because we're like, there's holes in it, right? We're getting a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there. We're kind of like, well, how does that connect over here to there, to that sort of thing? But from what we've learned, there's a lot there. Brennan has done his homework. He's put in the effort. I'm excited to see all of these moving pieces kind of come together and we get a better view of the lore across the next couple of months. We start to really understand the Shapers' War, the time after the Shapers' War, the Falconers' Rebellion, all of these sorts of things. What's happened since, right? These Sundered Houses and things like that. Like, how did we get here? What does this stuff really mean? What's going on with death and them not being shepherded to the right places because the gods are dead and all that sort of stuff? I want to learn more about that, and I'm excited to. All in all, if I had to give the Overture a rating outright, 1 to 10, I think I would go 8, right? Because, I wanted more out of how, like, I'm not going to give it a 10, right? There were moments where I was like, again, I saw that coming. I never thought Octus was dead. Again, and I'm not blaming them for that. I know why they're doing these things, but that takes a little bit away from me knowing certain things were going to happen, knowing some things were kind of set up in a way that it was presented to the audience like there was real chances, real differences that I just don't believe there were. And so I'm going to go 8 out of 10. It's been enjoyable. It's been fun. I think I'm going to enjoy it more post Overture. But what do you all think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Give it a rating 1 through 10 and share the reasonings why, of course. And if you don't have anything to say, leave an emoji down there anyway, just to help me with the algorithm. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to support me directly, you can of course become a member here on YouTube or head over to my Patreon link down below and subscribe there. There's a ton of goodies for you Dungeons and Dragons players over there. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, good luck in your adventures.